我今天穿的这一身是明制汉服，都是圆领袍，但是明制这里是收口的，唐制的这里是开口的。
上衣是补服，下裙是马面，然后手中拿的是手舞。
里面是魏晋的交领之具，然后外边呢就是大氅。这个是它源自于道教的鹤氅。
下摆是以铅烧、铅烧、线烧。
宽袍、大袖 and everything else Hanfu. There's something getting youngsters in China excited about the ancient ways. The Hanfu has come to symbolize a meeting of the old and new, with a potential consumer market of 400 million people.
就最早期我们一般出来，大家就会说出去演戏呀、唱戏的，是不是？
奇不奇怪，我可能不知道，但是我觉得不奇怪。
有明显的感觉到，现在越来越多的年轻人加入汉服这个行业，来做汉服。
那我们知道，其实很多的运动呢，尤其是洋化运动，都是源于青年群体，就是青年群体在成长过程中对现有的这样的一种文化的一种突破。
What is Hanfu? What's behind this growing trend, and what does it mean for Chinese people in China and around the world? Ancient China was also called Huaxia. Xia means great etiquette and rites, while Hua means beautiful clothing, which is now known as Hanfu. It's Han clothing for the Han Chinese, who make up nearly 92% of China's population. Its development was stifled during the Qing dynasty that ruled China between 1636 and 1912, a time when Han traditions were sidelined. The Japanese invasion and civil war in the first half of the 20th century hampered the revival of Han traditions. Thanks to the reform and opening up in the late 1970s, China jump-started its transformation into a modern country, embracing the world. So despite a rich history spanning nearly 4,000 years, traditional Han clothing and etiquette were gradually forgotten and replaced by a modern way of living in China. In November 2003, a man named Wang Letian wore a self-made Hanfu onto the streets of Zhengzhou in North China's Henan province. It raised a few eyebrows, but Wang's initiative resonated with Chinese youngsters. It set into motion the revival of Hanfu, embracing traditional cuts and styles with modern patterns and fabric. Initially, people wearing Hanfu were often mistaken as foreigners, such as Japanese or South Korean. As a result, Hanfu parades and Hanfu events were held across the country to bring Hanfu into the mainstream and display its beauty. In November 2020, at least 200 enthusiasts in Wuhan, central China, came together for an annual Hanfu event.
我们归木兰汉服社举办这个汉服节的，今年是第2届，也是每年1年1度的比较重大的一个节日。所以今天大家可以看到到场的很多同袍，大家都是冲着这份情怀来参加我们这个活动。
去台湾旅行的时候，当时去故宫，台湾的故宫，当时有一个老奶奶，她跟我介绍所有的文物。我当时她有一句话打动我了，她说文化其实看不见，你不说就没有。汉服如果你不穿上去，大家不知道有这回事。
One survey in 2019 estimated the Hanfu market in China grew at least 20 times in 5 years, from 190 million yuan in 2015 to 4.5 billion yuan in 2019. It found 88% of the customers were women. According to an online retailer, more than half of its Hanfu buyers were born after 1990, with those aged under 25 displaying the strongest demand. Along with Hanfu, traditional hairstyles, makeup, and even the way of living are making a comeback. It's the rise of China's native fashion trends, Guochao or China chic, a term that signifies a creative China-centric aesthetic and fosters a new proud identity among youngsters. We met Tao Hui, a fashion professor in Wuhan, to understand why the younger generation is once again leaning toward the traditional culture.
那我们知道，其实很多的运动呢，尤其是亚文化运动，都是源于青年群体，就是青年群体在成长过程中对现有的这样的一种文化的一种突破。那么现在就大家也看到了，近几年呢，有一股国潮风。尤其在我们的这个民族品牌里面呢，有很多大量的就是说传统的文化呢，都通过民族品牌体现出来了。所以这种国潮风呢，它不仅仅只是说是大家的一时兴起或者是一时热度，而是它体现在我们的经济水平的这个提升。那么中国的经济在全球的这样的一个影响力，那也中国人的话语权在全球的这个提升，所以大家更多的开始关注，重新反思我们的文化了。我们也就是说，现在就是刚才提到的这个文化的自信，那也就是通过这个国潮风，我们其实可以感受到一二。这个只有民族的才是世界的，中国的优秀的这个传统文化，它也应该是为世界所享用。用汉服作为一个很好的一个元素，或者是作为一个我们说的一个切入点，来反映了我们90后甚至后面的是00后，他们对于中国文化的中国传统文化的这样的一个认识，还有责任和担当。
Heightened interest in Hanfu cuts across professions and class in China. Meet Zheng Feng, leader of a traditional Chinese archery team in Wuhan. At trainings, they welcome newcomers and catch up with other Hanfu enthusiasts.
射箭的话可以做得很有礼有节，大家射的时候相互作揖，是吧？射输了之后喝杯酒就完事了，说这种是君子之争。这个射艺的复兴其实也就这10来年的时间。复兴其实是有一个口号的，叫始于衣冠，达于博远。就是说穿上汉服，穿上自己的民族服装是第一步，但是你只穿服装的话，其实也没有文化内涵，所以还是要学习一项传统文化的技艺，所以两者搭配也是相得益彰的。
As an important part of the China chic trend, Hanfu, traditional or modernized alike, is keeping pace to reach its target customers. The Hanfu business, though, is shaping the future landscape not only for the garment industry, but also in many other ways. According to a CBN data survey, there were 18 million Hanfu buyers in China in 2020, while the market potential is more than 400 million. That's a third of China's population. Hanfu businesses have blossomed in many ways, from South China, which houses some of the country's biggest clusters of garment industry, to North China, where the Chinese culture originated. Meet Liu Deyang, a Hanfu factory owner in Dongguan, which falls in the Greater Bay Area. He started producing Hanfu in 2017 after his daughter introduced him to it. His factory now produces 30,000 pieces of Hanfu a month for different Hanfu studios.
这个汉服生产呢，我们就以一间这个李岭协进长衫为例。从这件版型开发开始，大概我们就需要7、8个人在协同做这件事情。后面是需要有一个研发的人，就是在电脑上面跟古时候的人是一样的，一帧一帧这样把这个软件做出来。这个车缝完成过后呢，我们就到了一个后枕，需要钉一些扣子啊、小毛球啊或者珠帘啊。我们汉服的居多的就是使用子母扣，我们这个呢是机器完成不了的，所以说汉服的打样呢，短的时间呢大概就是5天时间左右，长的可能就4个星期，一般这样。到了车间过后呢，大概这件衣服呢会经过51道步骤完成。
Government records show in 2019, Chinese consumers spent 1,873.3 billion yuan on clothes. Out of that, only 4.5 billion yuan went to the Hanfu industry. That's probably because, on average, a typical Chinese buyer spent about 1,388 yuan on clothes per year, so there are not too many takers for a 300 yuan Hanfu. Compared with daily wear, which is the crown jewel of mass production in modern society, the Hanfu industry is still at an early stage and faces the challenge of high production costs and low budget buyers.
那我这套衣服举例的话，我们是研究的导链图。我这套衣服的用料接近10米，它的纯材料的成本就在300左右了。
That's Ao Luojia, a Hanfu designer and a key opinion leader whose pictures wearing Hanfu went viral on the internet in China a few years ago.
这样的一套衣服加上其他的运营成本的话，我们的售价在500到650之间。这个价格其实对于很多初次尝试汉服的人来说的话，是价格偏高的。他们更愿意去尝试那些99到199，付款的时候压力相对较少的服装，他会习惯性的去对比单纯的价格。这个其实是汉服原创商家的一个很大的一个困境。
有明显的感觉到现在越来越多的年轻人加入汉服这个行业来做汉服。我的有一些客户现在还是大学生，他们给到我的稿子，我感觉到这个设计图很好，完了我就帮他制作完成，把这个样衣做出来。他们就是去拍摄啊，或者去抖音啊，或者是去推广一下。那么这个可能就是首单开始预售，大概就是100件啊，或者50件，我都帮他们开始做。因为这是一个工厂来说，做50件是亏本的。大家这样合作，一步一步，他们也就慢慢变大了。
对于汉服的未来的这个发展，我个人呢就是觉得，大规模的生产是不太可行的。那么现在可能能够真正做到上万件的，可能就是那种非常大众化的那种基础款，对吧？你凡是呢，就说更多一点，就稍微复杂一点，或者更多的满足个性化需求的，都不可能大众化的。现在的消费者，其实走到街上的时候不希望撞衫，即便是穿汉服，他也不希望一拨人都穿是一样的。
Professor Tao believes online pre-sales and digitalization have enabled garment manufacturers know more about target customers long before the goods are produced, just like what Liu and his young clients have done.
汉服目前的产业链和消费群体都是不完整的，它只是针对年轻女性的一个很小板块，年轻的男性，或者是成熟的女性，或者是更多年龄段的顾客，或者消费力的顾客，其实有很多空缺和短板的。其实我觉得其实是，如果汉服你做成减法，把它单纯想成一个衣服，我觉得它生命力会很短。汉服它其实是一个媒介，它是中国人的一个生活方式之一。我在19年的时候发起了一个叫礼衣华夏的模特大赛，因为现在的所有的艺术文化的定义都是追寻西方的定义来的，我们希望说我们能重新定义我们自己东方的文化审美和一些服饰审美。
Ao Luojia kicked off China's first national Hanfu model contest in 2019. At least 6,000 participants from 86 cities joined the second edition of the contest in 2020. She's now visiting Shouwu County in Henan Province to find partners for the third edition of Hanfu model contest in 2021. Shouwu County has a history of more than 3,000 years. In an effort to attract younger visitors, Shouwu has chosen Hanfu as the key element of its growth plan, aiming to become the Hanfu capital of northern China. As Hanfu can be expensive, stores selling Hanfu experiences are popping up across China, especially in scenic regions for visitors who want to experience Hanfu for the first time. A typical one-day Hanfu experience costs up to 200 yuan per person, with a variety of Hanfu to choose from. A Tmall survey conducted in 2020 indicated 66% of Hanfu consumers in China bought it for casual wear or travel. At least 60,000 people live in downtown Shouwu. The county tested waters by holding 2 rounds of the never-ending Hanfu Festival in August and October of 2020. Together, the 2 events attracted at least 100,000 visitors, which greatly lifted its tourism revenues in a short time.
过去的汉服节一年一个地方只有一次，满足不了汉服爱好者一年365天穿汉服进行社交、进行活动的寻找场景的需求。那目前还没有一家地方能够实现生产、销售、走秀、趋势发布以及业态的补充。我们就希望修武能够成为汉服一站式的年轻人的打卡地。长远未来，全国2000万汉服爱好者每年都能够来到修武消费，这将为我们修武的老百姓带来一个非常长期的、可持续的、稳定的收入。
其实汉服只是他们的一个很小的板块，他们想做的是一个全面的一个东方美学的经济。我觉得这样的话才是真正汉服走向大众的一个必要渠道。因为现在的汉服秀其实还是像拼盘，很像让爱好者自娱自乐的一个热点。那如果我们真的能成为一个类似于时装秀的一个正规秀，每个品牌按照季节或者是说新品去发布，这个其实是我们想过但是没有想过政府已经关注到的一个板块。
With nearly 4,000 years of history, Hanfu has evolved over time in China, unlike Japan's kimono that has largely remained unchanged for nearly 2 centuries. So which Hanfu style should represent Chinese identity? For example, romantic chest-high ruqun is a typical Tang Dynasty outfit, while Hanfu from Song and Ming dynasties reflect implicit beauty. Some Hanfu were modified or redesigned with modern patterns and fabric. They could be historically inaccurate and thus are referred to as fairy clothing or xianfu rather than hanfu.
就最早期我们一般出来，大家就会说出去演戏呀、唱戏的，是不是？然后现在，就听到很多的声音，就是哇，他穿的是唐朝的衣服，穿的是明朝的衣服。就是大家就是现在没有一个官方来告诉我们，就是到底是仙服和汉服是怎么区分开的，就是哪些是仙服，哪些汉服？因为就有几派的声音，有的就认为只有就是考察出来的有实物的这些才是，但是有一些比较久远了，它是没有实物可出土的，所以那些就是我们从壁画上、从陶俑上那些服饰，它到底算不算汉服呢？
其实对于汉服的这样的一个名称或者它的一个定论来讲，现在学界呢并没有一个明确的界定到底什么是汉服，那只是说在这个发展过程当中，大家有一些相对的一个共识。那么汉服呢，大家认定呢它还是一个汉民族的传统服饰，但实际上现在流行的这个汉服呢，它又不能就说是以哪一个朝代为一个基准，它应该更多的呢体现的是当代的青年对中国传统文化的一种理想性的再认识或者是重构，一种创新。
All these unsolved problems have not stopped Hanfu movements from proliferating beyond borders. Hanfu communities have made homes far away from Zhengzhou. We spoke to 3 enthusiasts from across Asia to share their Hanfu stories. Gong Panpan from Singapore is popular on social media as the Hanfu girl. She came up with fusion ideas mixing Hanfu with Western pop culture. She also started a blog in 2017 explaining Chinese culture in English.
People can say, oh, okay, I already know so much about this Western figure, so I don't really need to read up on it. But okay, so by transposing that, I could sort of understand this Chinese figure a lot easier as compared to for them to read from scratch. Most of the Chinese community, because we're English educated, don't really have that kind of strong connection to the Chinese, Chinese ancient past, except for TV dramas. So when they see us in, Hanfu, the first thing they will say is, "Oh, Chang'e," the moon goddess, and that's all they know most of the time. I get like some messages from diasporas, not just in Singapore, but overseas, they're Chinese, and they say, "Oh, I love to read what you write because it allows me to know more about history in a language I can relate and understand."
其实呢，马来西亚汉服运动呢是 发起呢是在2007年。当2007年一发起的时候呢，我们就办了第1届的生活营，华夏生活营。那每一年呢都会办一次。那我们曾经呢有收过的营员呢是来自加拿大、中国香港、中国大陆，然后新加坡。那在这个生活营呢，主要呢我们是把这个课程的部分，就是觉得有一些基本的一些资料，汉服的形制或是一些华夏的礼仪，都在这个生活营里面呢就会教导大家，就可能提供，因为多数来参加的人呢可能不了解我们华夏到底有什么东西，所以呢通过这个生活营呢，其实就是播下一个小小的种子，让他们可以通过这个生活营呢认识我们华夏的服装，然后呢跟礼仪的部分。
Hanfu has yet to be more widely understood in Asia, and it is often mistaken for the Japanese kimono. So what can Hanfu learn from kimono?
我有一个朋友的孩子，他在日本读书。那么在参加这个毕业典礼的时候呢，那日本呢，它有一个传统，它所有的毕业生呢都会穿他们的传统的服饰，比如和服，男生女生啊都会穿。但是呢，他选择了汉服。那么在当时，他是自己也感受到了有一种骄傲感，因为穿的这个传统的服饰啊，他感觉到那种特别有一种仪式感。
那么近几年呢，就是大量的留学生他会产生另外一种心情，就是一个民族心情，就是我不是一个日本人在这里毕业参加毕业典礼，我是作为一个中国人经过自己的奋斗达到这一个高度，所以越来越多的人是在这个场合会要想着去穿一件汉服。那么所以那个时候呢就会特别的忙，每天我就会拿着汉服在车站里面赶来赶去，给他们送各种各样的汉服过去。我们是在2019年进行了一个首届的汉服和服服饰秀，就是双方想要去突出的一个主题，就是我们不要忘了在我们的人生当中这个和服还好还是汉服还好，对我们的人生的每一步是起着一个非常重要的一个见证的作用。
在种种的现在的这些文化当中，都能感受到一个中国人的这样的文化自信。所以在这样的一个国力的强盛的基础上，在文化的发展的需要上，在世界上需要更多的认识中国的文化上，所以呢，汉服呢得到了前所未有的这样的发展。这一批汉服复兴的这样的一个青年的力量的话，那么我认为呢，它未来会成为我们中华优秀文化传统复兴的主力军。